to another deep dive. This time, we're diving into a book that is short but packs a punch when it comes to powerful ideas.
Yeah, it's called the Serviceberry, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World.
Written by the amazing Robin Wall Kimmerer, who you might know from her best-selling book, Braiding Sweetgrass.
She really is a phenomenal writer and thinker.
I agree. And in the Serviceberry, she offers this beautiful and thought-provoking meditation on the lessons nature can teach us. Lessons for how we live our lives and even how we shape society.
Right. It really makes you rethink your values and how you view the world around you.
It really does. So I'm curious, for you listening right now, do you think nature has lessons for us? I mean, beyond just its beauty. Are there key things we can learn from the natural world to help us build better relationships or more just and sustainable societies?
That's a great question, and one that I think Kimmerer answers with a resounding yes.
I think so too. The Serviceberry is beautifully written, and it even has these stunning illustrations by John Burgoyne.
Yeah, they really add another layer to the experience of reading it.
It's not just a book to read, it's a book to experience. And at the heart of it all is this incredible metaphor, the serviceberry tree itself. This seemingly simple element of our landscape becomes this springboard for exploring these really big ideas.
Like gratitude, reciprocity, and community.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is to unpack those big ideas presented in the Serviceberry and see how they often contrast in surprising ways with the way the modern world thinks about things. Economics, relationships, our place in the world, it's all there.
It's a fascinating exploration.
So let's start by breaking down this fascinating notion of a gift economy that Kimmerer introduces. The idea that nature operates on a system of giving and receiving.
What's so captivating is how she uses the serviceberry tree as like a prime example of this gift economy in action.
Right. So tell us more about the serviceberry tree itself. What makes it so special?
So year after year, the serviceberry tree produces this abundance of berries, and it doesn't hoard them for itself.
Right. It's not like, these are my berries.
No, it's incredibly generous with its bounty. And the birds and the mammals and even us humans, we all benefit from this abundance. Like imagine a natural pantry open to all.
And this is where nature's cleverness comes in, right? Because this seemingly selfless act of distributing its berries isn't entirely selfless at all. Kimmerer points out that this generosity is also a way for the serviceberry to ensure its own survival.
Exactly.
The animals that feast on the berries, they end up unknowingly dispersing the serviceberry seeds.
Right.
Helping new serviceberry trees sprout in different places.
It's brilliant.
It's this interconnectedness, this vital link between giving and receiving. And this is where the implications for us humans become so interesting.
This is where Kimmerer really draws a contrast with the logic of our modern economic systems, which are so often based on scarcity, competition, and this relentless drive to accumulate more and more for oneself. She makes us question whether this obsession with hoarding resources is actually leading us down a path that is ultimately unsustainable.
Right. She asks this powerful question. Have we sacrificed our values for a system that is actually harming what we love? Whether it's the environment, the planet, or even the quality of our relationships with each other, it's a question that really makes you pause, especially when you look at the growing inequality in the world and this hyper-individualism that our system often promotes.
It makes you wonder, what are we really striving for?
Doesn't it? And taking a step back, Kimmerer suggests that true wealth isn't measured in possessions or money, but in the quality of our relationships, the strength of our communities, and our connection to the natural world around us. It's a pretty radical shift in perspective, isn't it?
I think so. And a much needed one.
I agree. And a key to building that relational wealth, I guess you could call it, is gratitude.
Yeah.
This conscious practice of being thankful. Kimmerer really elevates gratitude from just a fleeting feeling to something much more powerful.
And I think she does this beautifully by showing how the serviceberry, with its selfless offering of its fruit, becomes a teacher of gratitude.
That's such a good point.
It teaches us about this inherent generosity in nature, this abundance that's all around us, which we often overlook in our busy lives.
Yeah. We take it for granted so easily.
Absolutely.
So the book encourages us to adjust our perspective, to stop, to notice, and to appreciate the gifts we receive from both the natural world and from the people in our lives. Such a simple practice, but one that has the potential to be so transformative, right?
Simple, but so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. But then it raises the question, how do we translate that gratitude into action? And that's where reciprocity comes in. It takes us beyond just a feeling of thankfulness.
Reciprocity is about responding to the gifts we receive. Not just saying thank you, but completing the cycle. giving back in some way to nourish the well-being of the whole and to keep that exchange going.
And here, the example of the serviceberry comes back in such a powerful way.
It really does.
It gives us its fruit, and in return, it receives this invaluable service from the birds and animals that spread its seeds. It's a system of mutual benefit where everyone plays an essential role.
It's a beautiful example of how giving and receiving are interconnected.
And this leads us nicely into the concept of community. The serviceberry isn't an isolated entity. Its abundance feeds a whole web of interconnected beings that rely on it.
It's a reminder that we are not isolated beings either. Our well-being is interconnected with the well-being of others and with the health of the environment we share. Building community means weaving these networks of mutual support, offering our help freely and working together to create a flourishing future for all.
I love how the book contrasts this logic of collaboration in nature with this scarcity mindset that often pervades our society.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Because while nature certainly has challenges, and there are struggles for survival, the fundamental logic that underpins many ecosystems is one of cooperation, balance, and interdependence. It's a radically different model than what we are often led to believe is the only way.
And that scarcity mindset pushes us to compete ruthlessly. It encourages us to hoard resources out of this fear that there won't be enough to go around. And in the long run, it creates distrust, deepens inequality, and causes immense harm to our planet.
It makes you wonder, is there something we can learn from the wisdom that Kimmerer brings into this book? This worldview where humans are not the masters of nature, but rather just one part of this complex web of interconnected relationships.
Right. She reminds us that many indigenous communities have maintained a relationship of deep reciprocity with the natural world for generations. They understand that their well-being is directly tied to the health of the ecosystem they inhabit. And for many of these cultures, the serviceberry tree is more than just a fruit-bearing tree. It's a living symbol of abundance. It's a reminder of the importance of living in balance and harmony with nature.
And there's this beautiful description of the book by Elizabeth Gilbert, who calls it a hymn of love to the world and an antidote to so many of the ills that plague our modern society.
Oh, yeah, that quote is so good.
She said, "Hoarding won't save us. All flourishing is mutual." It's such a simple but profound message.
It really is, and it calls on us to reevaluate our priorities and to reorient our lives towards gratitude, reciprocity, and community.
And even Robin Wall Kimmerer herself, she donated the advance payments she received for this book to organizations working to protect land, restore damaged ecosystems, and fight for social justice. It's such a powerful act of reciprocity that really embodies the philosophy of the book.
So powerful. So to all of you listening out there, after this deep dive into the teachings of the serviceberry, we hope you leave with some food for thought. How can we apply these principles of gratitude, reciprocity, and community in our own lives? What small steps can we take to strengthen our connections with each other and with the natural world that sustains us?
We highly encourage you to seek out the Serviceberry and give it a read. It's such an inspiring and enriching book that will offer you many more layers of understanding and wisdom on these important topics.
And to leave you with a final question to ponder. If all flourishing is mutual, then how does that redefine our understanding of wealth and well-being? Could it be that true abundance lies in the quality of our relationships and our deep connection to the natural world that surrounds us? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.